Hey folks, I'm here at Bucks Island in Southside Alabama, and we just finished rigging this Pro Angler 14 with a Torpedo Ultralight 1103. And I got a kind of a cool opportunity. There's Michael doing overlay clips for his video of this, but there's Chad, and this is Chad. Chad's with the Coosa Riverkeeper.
Yep.
And we just did the video with the Susquehanna Riverkeeper, Lower Susquehanna Riverkeeper, basically talking about, hey, get the phone number for your Riverkeeper where you fish, and get it on your phone, and be the eyes and ears for our Riverkeepers. It's a really valuable thing to be able to capture, you know, a photograph, or just to let you guys know, hey, there's a problem. What I want to do with you today, Chad, is to get on the water. I'd like for you to show me some of the things that warrant a phone call or a quick cell phone video, and put a pin drop on it. And here you go, Riverkeeper. This is what I'm seeing. What does some of that stuff look like? I mean, we're going to get video of it on the Coosa.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of it can look like just a discharge pipe going into the water. Some of those can look hidden. Some of those can be pretty obvious. A lot of it also can just be things you smell. You know, everyone knows what that sewage smell is. And so, you know, that's not a normal smell. And so when you smell that, you know, take note of where you are, drop a pin for coordinates, and contact your local Riverkeeper, contact your state agency. But more often than not, your local Riverkeeper will help you communicate with the state agencies. And no one spends more time on the water than an angler. And with such large watersheds, we're blessed with so much water around the Southeast. Having more folks who are aware and know what to do in situations like that, and just voicing problems and concerns, goes such a long way.
Cool. So I think it's important to, you know, for us to get on the water and you know, get footage of those sorts of things. Here's why I'm going to ask you, if you've made it this far in the audience retention of this video, why it's important. My favorite fishery died. The Shenandoah River lost 80% of the adult smallmouth bass. We have a great fishery here, tremendous fishery, and a lot of it has to do, a lot of why that died has to do with the poultry industry and nutrient overload. So we'll talk about that, but you know, it would be devastating to this region if the fishery died on a wholesale level, like 80% of the, what would that do for the economy here?
Economy, I mean, it'd be rough. I think I saw somewhere Alabama, you know, accumulates upwards of 200 million a year just through fishing in our freshwater lakes and rivers.
People stopped fishing the Shenandoah for like years, and it's not come back to the level of. I'll give you for instance. We used to do float trips, and I was guiding on it, and you know, we do float trips where if someone didn't catch a 20-inch smallmouth in the early 2000s, you were like, what did we do wrong? It was such a phenomenal fishery. Small water, big smallmouth. It was amazing. And then it was dead. And it was on one of my guide trips that I pulled into an eddy, and I just saw the entire surface of it filled with dead fish. And it was a struggle. We didn't have a Riverkeeper back then. It was a struggle to work with the Department of Environmental Quality in Virginia, or Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries, the bureaucracy that delayed having someone get out there. The immediacy of response is something I think is important with the Riverkeepers. So let's get out there and let's get eyes on some stuff.
That sounds good.
Cool. All right, we're about to hop in trucks and go look at some stuff. If you're looking for this to be a fishing video, you can stop watching now, but it's not going to be a fishing video. It's going to be a save your fishery before someone kills it video. That's the focus. So let's go look at some stuff.
Sounds good.
All right, we're getting ready to put in, but Michael is kind enough, after we've rigged up his boat, to lend it to this effort so that Chad can be in it. Tell me about your boat, man. We just rigged this yesterday.
Well, so it's the Hobie Pro Angler 14 360. I mean, it's the cream of the crop as far as Cadillacs of fishing kayaks. It's got the 360 pedal drive, Mirage drive, so you can actually, it'll spin all the way around. But this is my second Torqeedo. I've had a Torqeedo on a previous kayak and have been jonesing to have this motor back. And the 1103 is, man, I'm psyched. But for the good of our environment and for the good of, and I've worked a lot with the Coosa Riverkeepers over the last couple of years in the local area. I want them to get their information out there, and so I'm going to let him go break this boat in. And
you haven't been in it yet.
I have not been in it yet.
It's cool.
It's a fun thing to drive.
Yeah. All right, Chad, where are we headed?
We're headed upstream to the Gadsden drinking water intake.
So we're gonna see where Gadsden gets water for showers, for doing laundry,
yeah,
for making coffee.
Any water, coffee, tea, lemonade, brushing your teeth.
Okay.
Giving water to your dog. So here's the pipe. We're not sure what it does. It could be nothing. It looks like it's just drainage for this old piece of property that's for sale. But if you spend a lot of time on the water, this will, strike your curiosity. I know a lot of anglers like to spend time at discharge pipes because it kicks up nutrients and gets fish active and everything like that. But coming to a spot like this, it sparks your curiosity and it makes you wonder if you do find a discharge pipe and there is liquid coming out of it, does it smell? Does it look funky? Is it discoloring the water around where you're fishing? And take note of that. Drop a pin, take coordinates, remember where you are on the river, and more importantly, take photos and videos. Documenting that kind of pollution, whether it is harmful or not, can go such a long way, especially down the road when we may learn that it is harmful and we've been documenting. So one thing that I think a lot of communities are unaware of that's extremely important is just the knowledge of where sanitary sewer overflows are happening in your community, near you. So sanitary sewer overflow, we call them SSOs. So they occur when a wastewater treatment plant or system is failing, and that can happen from cracked pipes, broken pipes from just old infrastructure, but it can also happen after large rains and just an immense amount of flooding going into our wastewater system. And literally what will happen is you will see raw sewage bubble up out of these manholes. And if it's, right in the river like this, that's raw sewage that's gonna go right in the river. If it's in the middle of your community, in your street, and it's during a big rain, your yards, your basements, they'll get flooded. I know Gadsden already has a lot of flooding issues, and we've, gotten lots of reports of people having sewage in their homes, on the streets, and, regardless of where that's happening, it's all going to make its way to the river. And that's only going to create more of a nutrient problem. And that's just going to kickstart a lot of other issues that anglers will see downstream. People who like to recreate by swimming, they'll see that too. We do a lot of bacteria monitoring on the river, and we often find after a large rain, there's a lot higher E. coli levels where sanitary sewer flows occur. So that is going straight into our water.
Can I jump in there with an anecdotal?
Yeah.
Years ago, and I don't remember totally the conditions. I think we had drought conditions, and we did a float trip. Actually, it was 3 days on the upper James River, and I think because we were in drought conditions, that the coliform count or whatever was through the roof. I spent 2 days in a campsite just hoping that I didn't die from it coming out both ends. So yes, you can get swim. And honestly, all I had done is, it was a hot day and I got in the water and submerged to just cool my body off.
Yep.
And I got vomiting and pooping everything out.
I mean, even
sick.
Swimmer's ear.
Like I probably should have gone to the hospital and gotten an IV.
Even swimmer's ear, that's harmful E. coli
Yeah.
in your ear. That's just bacteria from the water.
And no one likes poop in the ear.
So this is the Gadsden drinking water intake. So this provides water for the city of Gadsden. It's your drinking water, it's the water you shower in, it's the water you give to your dog. It's all of your water unless you're on well water in this area. And you can't really see it, but 0.6 miles upriver from here is a coal ash pond that is going to be kept in place. So I don't know how that happened.
What's the problem with coal ash ponds? What does that mean? What's in them?
So in coal ash, to get down to the basic level, coal ash is the leftovers after the coal has been used and burned, and so it can create harmful chemicals like arsenic, and that is sitting in an unlined, this one might be lined, I don't remember, but it's sitting in a pond right there and seeping into the groundwater. And so
arsenic's bad?
Mm-hmm. Arsenic's bad. It's been found here in the drinking water. It's, they test for it, and it's been found in the drinking water. Okay, so here we are, we're the blue dot. Here is the Gadsden drinking water intake that's right here behind us. So we move 0.6 miles upstream, nice golf course there, and then there is the coal ash pond. That's, flooding happens and natural disasters happen, and there's been many scenarios just in the southeast alone, in North Carolina and Tennessee, where a coal ash pond has had some kind of break or failing infrastructure, and there have been catastrophic spills because of it. So instead of waiting for something bad to happen, why don't we be proactive and not reactive?
So Chad, I appreciate you giving us some insight on what to look for in terms of the sight, sounds, and smells. That can be something that should be reported, but it was all sort of point source pollution, meaning there's a discharge pipe or there's the, something. It's there. It is. We also have pollution that is non-point source, and I didn't know what that term meant when my fishery died in the early 2000s. My Shenandoah Riverkeeper losing 80% of the smallmouth, and ultimately it was, I learned that was really from the poultry industry, taking the excess, the chicken poop, the chicken litter, and going to any farmer that would take it and spread it on their field, which is great fertilizer. I live on a farm in Maryland, and yeah, we'll take some chicken poop, but they have to be, applied at responsible rates. And I know if you're paying for fertilizer, you're only going to pay for what is beneficial to your crop, right?
Yep.
The problem is that the poultry industry gets rid of chicken litter they're not doing this altruistic, hey, here's some free fertilizer out of the good of their hearts. It's something they got to get rid of. And they will dump it at high rates. Then that's what happened to the Shenandoah River that killed 80% of the adult smallmouth in one spring. That's more of a non-point source pollution, where it's splotchy, this section of the river, all of the fish died, but then you move 20 miles downstream and it's not as affected, and you go above that and maybe it's just fine. It has to do with how they, and I know that when that started getting looked at by, ultimately the Riverkeeper and Department of Environmental Quality, then it started appearing in other rivers in the area, because they started looking at application rates.
Yeah.
And saying, no, you can't dump it all on the field thick. And they looked at what was happening in the Shenandoah Valley, monitored, and said, this is what is acceptable. And then all of a sudden we started getting fish kills in the James River. They were just trucking it down 81 and saying, okay, we're being looked at here, let's move over there. And I think that's maybe what you had coming your way with the rendering plant, or I don't know.
It seems like it. And it was really wonderful to see the community in Gadsden come together and voice their thoughts and their feelings, and be able to look at examples like you're talking about on the Shenandoah River and on the James River and say, you know, this is happening elsewhere. We don't want to be the next example.
So what would happen to this community if we lost 80% of the spotted bass or largemouth? What would that do to here?
I mean, it would just decimate the economy. There's so many, I mean, there's, you know, a local business in Gadsden that's one of the most popular businesses in the area right here on the river, and people travel from all over to come fish the Coosa River.
Right.
Neely Henry, Weiss Lake, Lay Lake, Logan Martin, all of it. And all of that would be gone. And all of these businesses, I mean, the city is on the river. Not just the ones on the river, but like, you know, the businesses that make up the economy that is Gadsden, where people have jobs. They rely on people coming here and fishing. It's
fishing tourism.
Yeah, fishing tourism goes a long way.
I'll say, you know, that I'm not anti-poultry. Like Michael's right there. He actually went to Chick-fil-A and got his lunch. I like chicken, but I'm willing to pay a little bit more if I know that it's responsibly, like if they take care of their byproduct in a way that isn't killing our rivers, so killing our fish. So that's what we need to hold poultry producers or local municipalities with their with how they're handling the wastewater, or anyone else. You know, and that's what you do. So
yeah, everyone has the opportunity to speak up and hold your local government, your polluters, your wastewater treatment plants, your municipalities. You know, it's time to hold others accountable for all of this water that's ours. It belongs to you and I.
So here's the action items. 1, go to waterkeeper.org if you're not in the Coosa watershed. Find out if you have a Riverkeeper. Get that person's phone number in your contact list. Use some of the sight sense and you know, and sounds of okay, this could be pollution, and communicate with your Riverkeeper. Know who it is, know who that individual is, and you know, if we can catch things before things go south. We had no warning that the Shenandoah was about to die. It just happened like that. So I hope it doesn't happen here, but y'all can be part of it, part of making sure that we have that prevention in place and we keep our water quality and our fisheries healthy.
Even if you don't have a waterkeeper or riverkeeper organization right there in your area, still reach out to the closest one, because we're a community and we know people. We work with a lot of other organizations that aren't necessarily riverkeeper organizations all around the community, so, and other riverkeepers do as well. So reach out and say, hey, I know you're not in my watershed, but I want to do more. I want to help. I want to learn more. And they'll more than likely be able to get you in touch with the right kind of people, or maybe you're that person. And maybe it just takes sparking that to say, you know, I can do more. I can create a voice for my community and take care of what we love here.
Nice. Well, I appreciate it very much, Chad. You're coming out here and teaching us some.
This is a really good time. I've never gotten to experience the river in a way like this on a kayak with a motor on the back, and I very much enjoyed it.
Right on.